Hey guys, Raven Gaming here. So this video is probably not going to look very good, but basically, as you know, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is coming out in October actually. And I just kind of want to share my thoughts on what this game should be, in my opinion. So first off, I think I'm gonna have a very unpopular opinion. So as you know, we have shit. Where are my games? We have, there we go. Yeah, Advanced Warfare, and we got Black Ops 2. You got the advanced movement system, and you've got boots on the ground. Now, this is legitimately one of my favorite games of all time. Black Ops 2 is still, hands down, in my opinion, the best Call of Duty ever made. But what I think they should do, as far as the advanced movement system goes, is I know a lot of people want to see it done away with, and I know a lot of people want to see it brought back. I think they need to do both. I know that's confusing. How can you do both, since they directly contradict each other? How about they make Black Ops 4 the connecting point between Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 2? Something in the middle there that shows like the rise of the exosuit. So you get to see the thing being created and all that. So the first half of the campaign, you won't have it. I don't know, maybe it gets stolen or something, and you should go and track it down or something like that. But and then the second half, or towards the end, you'll get it, and then you'll be able to use it in that part of the campaign. So obviously that leaves multiplayer. Where does that lead? I think they should do two modes. Imagine like they'd be almost the same. They'd have the same weapons, except for like say 7 unique weapons for each mode. And you'd have boots on the ground mode, which would be a more Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, very like futuristic, modern, like very near future look to it. And you'd have the advanced movement system, which would look more like Advanced Warfare. It wouldn't be super futuristic, but it would still be relatively futuristic. Shit. No. Shit. Then you have a few unique maps for each side. Have all the maps really just be have like 3 maps that are like crossed over between the two of them, and have just be like reskinned. Like you'd have one map be boots on the ground and it would be normal and all that, and then like have like an aftermath version where everything's like destroyed for the exo version. And so basically you have neither one would be as full then, because obviously they'd have to do more work for each of them, but then you'd really be pleasing everyone, I think. And as far as zombies go, I think they should probably end up just kind of turning that into its own game, because I mean, the more we go into zombies, the closer and closer it becomes to just becoming its own game. So I think not like you have to buy it separately, its own game, but like in like how Modern Warfare Remastered was done. That could be, I think that's what they need to do, honestly. because it's gotten to the point where in order to do more, they would have to do that. So probably give it its own campaign. Don't know how the hell they would handle that, but give it its own campaign. Give it its own like multiplayer mode with unlockables and HQ and stuff like that. And maybe give it a couple extra game modes. I mean, obviously, even another game mode would be enough to consider it being massive changes, so I mean 2, 3 more game modes and you have something pretty good. But yeah, back to the multiplayer, because that's really the most important part. See, what I'm thinking is you'd have like, you'd be able to choose between both, and both would be different. You'd have like a different character in both. Same maps for most of them. But then the weapons, you'd have like 7 unique weapons, and then like the other 12 or so, 12, maybe 15. That's another thing I want to stress. The last few Call of Duties, there's not a lot of weapons in them. Just not. Like, this has enough weapons. I mean, it's not a great selection, but it has enough. It has more than enough, so that's pretty good in my book. Black Ops does not. Black Ops 2, however, that's another reason why I think it was perfect. It had a lot of weapons. There's a lot of, I think that they need, one of the things that they really need to focus on is pistols. Because they honestly don't do a lot of difference with pistols. It's always the same exact thing. You've just got this one is slightly less damage while being slightly more mobile, and this one's like, they don't really do variation all too well. You have like 1 point and then -1 point on every pistol, and then it's pretty much the same thing with like one tiny difference. So they need to focus on variation in the pistols. Throat hurts like hell for some reason. If my voice sounds a little bit off, that would be why. Actually, I was thinking maybe 7 pistols at a minimum. One that would be super high damage, but super slow on everything else, sort of like the Python or the Deagle. Something like the BR-23 or whatever the hell it was, that 3-round burst pistol from Black Ops 2. And another, and this is probably, I know people aren't gonna like this, but another Executioner. Just make it slightly more powerful. Yes, that could be overpowered as all shit, but I think what they need to do is just not have the options for a speed loader, and then rather make the reloads much slower. And I think that that could have some very good effects on the game as a whole. Because not just that pistol, but all the pistols, because the more variation you have, the less the game becomes repetitive. And that's where it is when you only have so many weapons and you focus on variants. Well, yes, you're putting work into the variants, and now you have something to show off. Ooh, flashy, cool, but it's the exact same weapon. Which means you still haven't added anything new, which gets repetitive eventually, because people know what to expect. When you add a new weapon, suddenly there's a new thing, they don't know how to react to this, and it becomes fun to adapt and to figure out how to address the threat of a new weapon. rather than them having, for example, World War II. You have two pistols, essentially. Because the the Luger, I think it's a Luger, and the 1911, if we're being honest, are the exact same pistol, with very little difference. At least I found very little difference when I was using them. And then you have the machine pistol. So they're either using a semi-automatic pistol or a machine pistol, which doesn't give you a whole lot to react to. Now, they did add revolvers, I've heard. I haven't played in a long time, since the resistant events started. Like, the week it started, my computer broke, so I heard they added revolvers. And the SMGs, they have a good amount of the primary weapons, but the pistols have always been something that they haven't focused on a lot. I think what they need to do is they need to have a Deagle-like pistol, something with very high damage, but very low everything else. A sniper pistol, something like the RW1 from Advanced Warfare, except for make it come with some sort of an optic. Make it somewhat accurate at range, because if you're not gonna do that, then what's the point of having a fucking sniper pistol? So they need to like either give it like a scope or give it like extremely good iron sights or something. Because I don't want the pistol becomes basically useless if you have to grind to get it up to a point where it's even usable, and then grind even further after that to get it to a point where it's meant to be what it's supposed to be. Because nobody really wants to go and grind for months to get a fucking scope on a pistol. They're just gonna go ahead and use whatever the easiest pistol is to use. Or not the easiest, whatever they have that's the best. Because, like the RW1, for example, I tried using it, I tried putting the scope on it because I would use it. That's what I do with my pistols. I snipe with my pistols, and I just have like that's always been my strategy in any first-person shooter, is you get a revolver or a deagle or something and you snipe with it, because it's good, high damage, at long range. However, when you have something like the RW1, or if any of you have played Contract Wars, there's the Thor. It doesn't have any iron sights, or in the RW1's case, very minimal iron sights, which means at a distance you can't really do what the thing is meant to do. So they definitely need for the sniper pistol to give it good iron sights or a red dot or something right out of the package, and then have you like level up to get the scope or something. As far as the other pistols go, I think they need to have another executioner. Lower, I'm thinking a 4-round cylinder. Or even better, make it like a pistol style thing with an actual like clip that you put into the bottom of the handle. But yeah, I'm thinking 4 rounds. Normal shotgun damage and spread and everything, just really lower the hell out of the range. Have it be like the lowest range shotgun, but not so low that you have to be like right next to the person to use it. Then they need to have a burst one, like the two round burst from Advanced Warfare, or that one from Black Ops 2. That would be, I think, a 5-round burst pistol would actually be really interesting. Have it have a 15-round clip. 5-round burst, that would be like 3 shots. But have it be like 4 shots to kill. So that 5-round burst is like a 1-shot kill, as long as you land as long as you land at least 4 of the 5 shots. I feel that could be interesting. And then have like extended clips, give you like 25 rounds, something like that. That would be an extra 2 shots. Then they need for the other ones, fully automatic, obviously, and probably what I'm thinking would be a silenced pistol, just one that comes naturally silenced. Now, I think what they would need to do is not have silencers available on any of the other pistols then, because then that would make that one completely pointless. Now, I actually have a reason behind this. Silencers are like one of the most overused attachments in Call of Duty. So I kind of would just want that to be put in there to see how people would react if they didn't have the availability of a silencer, if they were forced to use a gun to get a silencer. Because I think that would actually make gameplay a lot better. Because you wouldn't have people running around with silencers on guns that just don't need fucking silencers. Like, for example, that sniper pistol. They put that in the game the way I described it, and then you add a fucking silencer. Also, another thing I want to point out is in this, I want the silencers not to damage the damage, because it doesn't do that in real life. So, only have it go down for range or something like that. So, they have the, they put that on that sniper pistol. That thing's really fucking overpowered now, right? So, it would both be for balance and to even just kind of test and see how much people would really want to use the silencers. Ow, fuck. As far as, some of the things I would like to see added, more customization on the weapons. This may be asking a little bit too much, but I would actually like to see this would definitely be for the next Call of Duty, because there's no way in hell that they could add this by October. I don't think that's possible at all. Ammo customization. That sounds a bit much, I know, but I'm thinking at the very least have it for shotguns. I don't know how useful it would be for sniper rifle, or assault rifles. It would be good for sniper rifles, and it would be good for shotguns. So at the very least have it for shotguns. I'm thinking like maybe 4 rounds. Instead of adding the KSG in, just have a slug round. Have a standard buckshot round, have a dragon's breath round, and then like a 4th round that maybe fires like molten metal or something. Dragon's breath round could have no range on it whatsoever, but would be like instant kill for anything in your view path. Slug would obviously just be a slug, and the molten metal one could be like a slightly more range with slightly less damage, so somewhere in between buckshot and slug, and then lower the damage of the buckshot a little bit, so it's not like guaranteed 1-hit kill, but it is like 75% chance, and then so that the dragon's breath can be a guaranteed kill, and then have that be useful for reasons other than just looking cool. Now as for sniper rifles, they could do rounds that have less damage but much more range, and then rounds that have almost no range but do a ton more damage. So when you have sniper rifles like the SVU, the SVU I think from Black Ops 2, that semi-automatic one, the first one you get, you could have ranged rounds where now it takes 3 shots to kill instead of 2, or damage rounds, so now you can't snipe people across the map. It like cuts your range down by about 1/3, but it's a 1-shot kill and you can just spam shots off. Sounds overpowered, but I think that for the higher the damage, the lower your magazine size would need to become, and the higher the range, the bigger it would become. Wouldn't become very big, but it would get a lot smaller. So the more damage you add, you get a lot of rounds taken off, but the more range you add, you don't get many rounds added on. And then have, like, the same thing for assault rifles. Have maybe, like, a silencing round or something like that. That could be interesting. The thing I hope that they do, though, is I want customization. Like, lots of customization. As far as your player, your loadout. Oh yeah. Another thing I'd like to see, custom reticles. Have something similar to the emblem creator. So you can make, like, custom reticles for your sights. Wouldn't be very difficult. And be extremely cool. They just have to make, like, hollow, like, just line art, and you can make, like, a custom emblem. You have to admit, that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I cannot stress enough, customization is key, because the more you give people the ability to availability to customize, I'm not just talking about, like, their player, I'm talking about, like, guns and all that, the more wild cards you throw in, the funner the games become, because now it's not the same exact firefight over and over and over again. You know, you have to now decide what round is this dude using. So how much damage does that do? So it becomes a lot more tactical, a lot more strategic. Oh yeah, for you, those of you saying, oh, this is all way too much, like, go play Battlefield or something. I have Battlefield, I've played it, and it doesn't really, I like it better than Call of Duty sometimes, but it's not quite, it's a little too realistic without having enough of the good, realistic stuff. It's somewhat good, though. But yeah, my big points for Call of Duty Black Ops 4, what I hope they do at least, is do both boots on the ground and exosuits. Have them be separate, but more or less the same, with some key differences in weapons, some exclusive weapons on both sides, while integrating some other weapons. Exclusive maps on both sides while integrating some other maps, so you have, like, half the maps are shared, half the weapons are shared, and then the other half are exclusive for both sides. Oh yeah, and for the exos, have much more customization, like, maybe have, like, the exo movements be customizable, so you can have, like, a choice of double jump or boost jump, where you have a much more controllable double jump, or your second jump just sends you flying straight into the air, so you get much higher, you get much more air out of it, but you can't really control it. Or have, like, a triple jump where it's much more controllable, but you don't get as much jump. Same thing for all of the controls, because the more you do that, the more you have to analyze and all that, and the more entertaining it becomes, because you no longer are doing the same thing. Every individual firefight is different because something has changed. You know, no two people, the more customization you add, the more chance that no two people are going to be using the exact same loadout. So yeah, definitely an emphasis on boots on the ground and exo for multiplayer. Have the campaign have both boots on the ground and exo portions, and have zombies be more or less its own game mode with some added have it be somewhere in between its own game and, like, an extension. So it's not quite its own game yet, like, you don't launch it separately or anything, but it's not part of the main game anymore, if that makes any sense. Also, an emphasis on pistols, because they don't do enough pistols. Like I said, and I can't stress enough, the more you add, the more chance that things are going to be different every time you go to approach them. And the more different things are, the more engaging it is. I cannot stress that enough. Even though I've probably said that at least 20 times in this video already. God, how long is this anyways? Okay. Obviously do more customization on everything, and have the game maybe, wait, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Shit, so more pistols, more customization for everything, have zombies be more or less its own game, without completely separating from the game. Have both exo and boots on the ground, and maybe reticle customization, you know, as much customization as humanly possible. And just don't go too far back because you're scared to. So don't continue on the exosuit because people hate that. But don't go too far back because then you're just backtracking and you're gonna recreate Black Ops 2 or something because you're scared to try something new. I think that sums it up about right. That just kind of trailed off at the end there, and I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. But yeah. Anyways, Raven out, I guess.